It is the riot. The thing that amazes me is that you can be like, man, I'm so tired. I couldn't be any more tired. But then you function at that level for a while, and then boom, little did you know that second wave tired is coming through that is so much worse than first wave tired.
Almost like you thought you were at the basement, but then you realize the building goes lower than that, and you could be even more tired.
You put in like a special key or scan your card, and there's a bunch of levels beneath it that you didn't know were there. That's exactly where I'm at right now.
I'm sorry to hear you being so tired.
Okay, today in the podcast.
We got lots of good stuff.
Well, I mean, yeah.
As is every day.
It is the Riot Podcast.
Every day.
Hang on. I've got to slam this catfish beer bong, and then I'll be back with you.
We talk about the Tennessee Titans and what they were doing at the Nashville Predators a bit ago and why that's still been making news.
Yeah, problems with donuts as gateway drugs, the Oculus Go, Chick-fil-A scholarships, and more importantly, very large sauce containers. Also, did I mention Beat Saber? And Nikki and I come up with an Amazon reality show that should have happened.
Man, I think that would have been goals for Amazon.
Yep, real talk. And then, of course, changing in a porta potty. One of us did that yesterday.
I feel like that was, your telling of it was too low-key. Like, you needed...
A little more drama?
We needed more drama. Like, there was enough drama, but you needed... I don't know, like...
You're telling me right now that I didn't do a good enough job telling the story.
That, to me,
That's
it was more
saying.
Horrific. It needed an intro. It needed a long conversation about it. It needed some post work, too. Like, it wasn't just to throw it out there sort of thing.
That seems reasonable.
It needed a picture. Like, it needed something. Because I wanted it to convey, how bad it was.
If you listen closely to the story, I didn't have my phone because I know better than to take my phone into a porta potty, but I didn't know better than to take, let's say, my keys or my body.
So that's a good enjoy point. That story, but again, I felt like we needed to talk about it more.
I even left out some of the worst details.
Well, tomorrow, bring more in.
On purpose. Like, there was a huge puddle in there.
So why? That's what I needed. I wanted people to know, like, it's wrong to change in a porta potty.
There was a huge puddle. So it was like the tomorrow. Space that you needed.
No,
it was half the space.
I want to know all of it tomorrow.
I held back for you.
No, I don't want you to.
Okay.
That doesn't help me. It doesn't help our listeners.
You know what? You're right. My bad, guys.
So listen to part of it, and then we might talk about it more tomorrow.
All right. Well, you guys enjoy the podcast. Have a great day, and bye.
Bye-bye.
Leftovers from the most disgusting meal you've ever had. It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
You know, the first time you give into a temptation, it's bad. And the reason it's bad is because it's a gateway. I've heard that said before, like, marijuana is a gateway drug, or, smoking is a gateway to this, or, all these, it's a gateway. And there's part of me that's just like, gateway, come on.
Gateway, schmateway.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I feel like, did you pick up something this morning?
No.
You did not?
No. But last week, I walked through a gateway. Had no idea that I was walking through a gateway. I just stumbled through it, whatever. And on the other side of it, I found a world of delights once I got through that gateway. And that was, some of you may recall, that I was trying to go to a McDonald's. That didn't work out at all. And so I ended up stopping at a bakery and getting a donut. That bakery is absolutely on the right-hand side, roughly half a mile from the radio station. I pass it every morning.
With parking right in front of it, like easy access.
And the thing is, outside of the fundraiser, when sometimes they donate donuts and I pick them up, like, I've never just gone in there for myself. Like, oh, I'll just stop in and get something for me. Oh, this was only $1.50. Wow.
We normally get like a breakfast sandwich, or you bring something from home.
Right. And this morning, for whatever reason, when I got off of the freeway onto this road where the donuts are located, all of a sudden I was like, man, you would be great. One of those donuts with some coffee. Now, keep in mind, I've already had breakfast. I had eggs for breakfast. And I'm just like, well, we could have more. We'll just stop in here.
Well, it's not. You're supposed to eat every several hours. So,
right.
I mean, if you look at it, you'll just save the donut for a bit, and then it'll be time again.
I was going to be right in.
Well, you can eat early then.
Yeah. So, I mean, but I didn't.
Yeah, okay.
But it just occurred to me that it's like, that's what they mean when they say gateway drug. My stop off there, up until now, there in my mind, there's been an invisible barrier that says, we don't do donuts. We don't stop at that bakery. And then I have opened up the possibility of like, sometimes we stop at that bakery. And that's how gateway things work.
So now you got to tell yourself no when you go near it.
Right. I have to say no, whereas before I had a principle in line. I had built a wall that said no, and I didn't even have to think about it. But now there's a crack in the wall on swinging hinges, like well-oiled hinges. You barely even notice it
glaze.
opens. Yeah, that's exactly
it's got
right.
glaze on it.
That's exactly right. You wouldn't even notice it.
You know, you don't need another thing. Like, it's tempting enough with the gas station, with McDonald's, with all the breakfast places. And
it's fine.
Now you add that to it, a local donut shop.
Yeah, I'm going to have to start driving in the other way so I don't pass it.
So you can just ignore it.
Because there is another way that I can come in that I don't go past that donut shop. But, you know, I guess in fairness, I drove past a couple of... what was that, Thursday last week I had a donut. Friday and Monday didn't occur to me. Something about a Tuesday.
Something about today.
Something about today that was just like, hey, you know, we've got the time. I was early this morning. You could just stop in. You could chat up the donut lady. Maybe have a couple.
Having a bad day? Blame the riot. Everyone else does. And in fairness, it's probably their fault. Radio U.
Today is May 1st. And you're like, whatevs, who cares? No.
Oh, you're right. Cinco de Mayo's coming up.
Well, there's that, but that's not what I'm thinking about. Beat Saber releases today.
Oh my gosh, the virtual reality
thing? The lightsaber VR thing.
It's like combining, what was the dance thing?
It's like Dance Revolution.
If it was like on the wall in virtual reality with a lightsaber.
It looks crazy cool.
Man, last time we talked about it, I didn't think they had a release date.
They did not. And so about a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, they came out and they're like, all right, May 1st. Now, they're still saying that it's early access. And admittedly, I hate to be the guy because I know that like I'm talking about this virtual reality thing and I'm like less than a quarter of a half of a hundredth of a thousandth of a billionth % of people that actually have this.
Sure.
But guys, the enthusiasm is real.
But it's the thing that you saw on Facebook like maybe a month or two ago.
Right.
It became, the video showing it became viral, even though not a lot of people have the technology to actually play the game.
It was a girl with like a red and blue like lightsaber swinging at these blocks to this rhythm like song, like kind of an EDM beat. Oh, dude, it looks so good. Are you
going to get it? Or?
I am. I just checked. It's still not unlocked. They're saying that it unlocks at noon. Now, I said the last time that I did an Obadiah Plays video that was VR that I was not doing it again. Because...
Yeah, but this one you'd have to do.
I don't have the tech to make an Obadiah Plays video virtual reality version. I don't have the stuff to make it really look right. But... I feel like even if it's old and busted, I'm going to have to do an Obadiah Plays of this. Like, I just feel like I have to. So I don't know. Again, it'll be one of those things where I'll have to see if, can I make it work live?
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe not. I might have to record it and upload it. But I just don't see a world where I'm not playing this today.
Well, I hope you get access to it.
I know, right? So, I mean, I've got, like, I want you to know, you guys think that I just buy whatever I want. I've had a $12 balance of Steam gift card that I have
He's been patiently waiting.
I have saved. I mean, they had a couple of sales, like they had Shooty Fruity. I didn't buy it. I wanted to get Shooty Fruity, but I was like, no.
I want Beat Saber instead.
I'm saving this for Beat Saber. And so I have saved it. And I think it's going to be $20. Like, I don't know how much it's actually going to cost.
I actually thought it'd be more than that. Because of all of the viral sensation concerning Beat Saber's, video, like we mentioned from a couple of months ago.
I also thought it would be more than that. And to be clear, I have not officially seen the price, but that seems to be what everybody thinks it's going to cost.
Is there some sort of saber you use, or?
Well, no, it's just the
controllers.
The controllers. It's just in the videos that, like, there's a whole other company that helped them make that video because they've got tech that's like, hey, we can make your virtual reality video look really good. And so it will not look exactly the same for me, like as it did for the people in the video. Oh, yes. I'm really excited about checking it out.
Well, just in case Obi decides to Obi play.
Right.
Obadiah Plays, you can find that at RadioU and RadioU Right on Facebook. If you could just go ahead and make sure to follow and subscribe to both of those pages. And if you sign up to get notified, like you go that second step, then that way when we go live for something, it will tell you. Or you can go to Obadiah Plays, our playlist, if you go to RadioU Riot on YouTube, and the rest of his games are located there.
Yeah, so one way or the other, I don't see how I can't not do something.
I saw you tweet about it. I was like, what is Beat Saber?
Oh, Beat Saber,
That's
friends.
what it is.
The worst of the riot has no expiration date. It's born spoiled. It's the riot on Radio U.
I think Nikki and I have just stumbled across what could be one of the single greatest reality TV shows in the history of all television, which admittedly is a low bar.
But it could have been on Amazon Prime.
It could have
and
been.
And they're looking for some big shows.
They are right now. So Amazon is, of course, looking for their second headquarters.
Yes.
They haven't decided where it's going to be, but every city in the entire world is trying to be that. They're like, yeah, and if you come here, you can have the pick of all our daughters.
Plus, there's been a lot of conspiracy
Marry
theories.
whoever you want.
Where they're like, well, they put Texas in a commercial, so it must be Texas. Or they did this or that, or they this or that. And it's like, what city and state are they going to be having their second headquarters? Because that will bring so much money to that area.
So here's what Nikki and I are thinking. What if they had a reality show in which the mayor of every single city that's in contention.
Yeah, that was a possibility.
And there's a competition. Now, I was thinking something along the lines of The Amazing Race, because I feel like you've got a globetrot, even though I've never seen that show in my entire life.
But you assume that's how it is?
I'm not even entirely sure where I got that. There's that, okay? Actually, I'll tell you exactly
how.
How.
It needs to be like Survivor.
Sure, I like Survivor's a good choice.
The Bachelor. I don't even know how, but
no, that's it. That's it.
And that's not like you get a rose or you get something. You get an Echo or you get an Amazon Dot. Or you get an Alexa.
They hand it to you and they're like, "We're like,
you get a Fire.
We're sorry that you have to leave, but you can listen to RadioU's new Alexa skill.
You get one of those as you're voted out of the building.
Please move on. We're sorry.
I really feel like this could catch on.
I feel like what we need to do, though, I feel like it is a mixture between The Bachelor and Survivor. Like, there's a mixture there because we can't have Jeff Bezos making out with all these mayors because that's what it ends up being.
We take that part away.
Yeah.
Like, there's no dates or anything.
Well, I mean, like, there's physical challenges, and they're bringing Double Dare back to Nickelodeon this summer. So, there's a combination of trivia, there's physical challenges, and
some slime.
Then we find out when it's all over, the city that won actually just gave Jeff Bezos $10 billion.
Money. It'd be like how they pick the Olympic host cities.
Yeah, and that's what it really comes down to.
But it could be like, so who wants to be the next Amazon or something along those lines?
Perfect. I think that's the way to go. But I really feel like there needs to be some really gross challenges involved. Like, here's the mayor of Columbus, Ohio, and the mayor of Austin, Texas. And it's like the one that can get bit by this rattlesnake the most without dying,
battling it out,
makes it into round 2.
And we'd all be disappointed in our mayors or whoever.
Like, man, I knew we should have picked somebody that had a higher resistance to rattlesnake venom.
They're all like really old and like we needed a younger person to be able to win our city, Amazon.
Like, these 3 mayors go in, 6 lions go in, whoever makes it out.
But the lions won't be harmed.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, you got...
Just making sure people realize we do not harm animals.
You get stun guns, maybe a cattle prod. Hope you make it. I don't know.
Well, that's just an idea as people are anticipating when Amazon will make the announcement where their second headquarters will go. I think it's somewhere in Texas.
My challenges were pretty gruesome. What if they were just stuff like who can... They need to be related to Amazon products. Like
who can deliver their own, like you have to go out and deliver packages, whoever delivers the most.
And the most and correctly.
Yes.
So, like, for example, you lose a ton of points if it ends up at the wrong address.
Like they're throwing them at it's a challenge of speed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and you have to work customer service for a day. And you have to, all these people call you that you can barely understand them. Their phones are messed up. Who can solve the most problems in
Or
an
they
8-hour
have to be
shift?
the Amazon, like the one-day delivery, like when they go out.
Yeah.
They're the ones driving out the stuff. So
Okay.
I like this.
I mean, the rattlesnake venom, I think there's something there, but
That was a
this
bit
feels
harsh.
probably
that feels like a
little,
lawsuit, and then they're
Yeah.
like, well, we'll forgive you if you let our city win.
It's just a thing. So I would watch this. I don't know if I'd pay the $120 a year now for Amazon Prime to watch it, but
Might make it a little better.
Ever wonder what Nikki is doing when she isn't rioting? Find her Twitter feed at riot.radiou.com. Obadiah's is there too, but who cares what he's doing?
so I'm going to be off on Friday. For those of you that think that, wow, what are you going to do with your time off? I'm going on a trip where I'm sleeping on the floor.
Ooh, camping. That is urban camping.
Yeah, it is urban camping. It's indoor camping.
It's indoor camping.
And so
It's not glamping. It's still
No,
just straight
there's
indoor
no glamping.
camping.
There's indoor plumbing, but I won't be able to take a shower. It's
Oh, there's no shower?
No. And
Aw.
what I thought was really funny, I was like, so are there showers? I'm the one person out of this group of like 50 people that asked this question, and everybody's just like, of course there aren't. What a ridiculous question.
Why wouldn't there be showers?
Well, that's what I thought. Well, I don't know, if we're spending the night somewhere, shower's part of my morning routine. I believe in hygiene.
How else am I going to wake up? You need it.
I actually thought that. I was like, so we're going to go for a run in the morning? Like, I can't just wake up.
Is there going to be coffee?
Then I asked that question. I was like, will there be coffee? And it was like, oh, yeah, probably, maybe. I don't know. So and I'm just like, guys.
These are not the answers you
If
need.
there's no coffee and there's no shower, how do we live? How then do we live? So, I mean, maybe I was a little too dramatic about it. I almost wasn't allowed to go.
Well, why don't you bring your own stuff?
Well,
Like
okay.
one of those, what do they call them? Like the bladders. It's like a big thing of water.
But it's coffee?
No, then that's your shower. Like you hook it up.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then, somewhere else you bring like a grinder, some coffee beans, and you do a pour over.
Well, I went and talked to one of the people in charge, and I was like, now, I don't want to be too pushy, but, what if I brought a coffee pot? And they were like, oh, well.
You can make do without it for 1 or 2 days.
I know, said the people that don't need coffee.
Well, if they want to experience Angry Obie, that's fine.
Well, it's not, no, but that's just it, Nick. You won't be angry me. They just won't experience me at all. They'll be like, hey, we're loading up the bus. Where's Obadiah? I think he's still in bed.
He just couldn't get up.
Even on the floor without the coffee, he couldn't. Actually, come to think of it, I should be in great shape. What do I do every morning? I walk out of my bed and then sleep on the floor in my closet.
Yeah, but that's only for like 20, 30 minutes.
I know.
That's
but
not the whole night.
Those are some of the most restful, wonderful times I have.
Are you bringing a sleeping bag?
I got a sleeping bag. And then I also bought, and this is a highly suspect item. I haven't pulled it out yet. But Costco had this mat that you were supposed to be able to sleep on that you blow up, but like you blow up with your mouth. But it's not a lot of air, but it's like foam and cushiony and whatever. So I bought one of those. And I kept the receipt. Because if that thing's not...
I'm sleeping on it once and I'm setting it right back.
Well, my thought was, I'm like, if this thing passes muster, fine. If it's no good, it's going back.
Yeah, but Costco's a generous return policy.
I know. I know
like,
this.
I just didn't need it.
I know this. So I'm not sure about it, but I have that. And the other thing I did, and don't hate me for this, everybody, because I already feel your disdainful looks, but I bought myself a couple 5-hour energies. Because my thought was...
If you add enough to it every 5 hours,
well, no,
and
I just
you're
thought,
diligent with it.
I was like, when I wake up on Friday morning and there's no coffee and I've been sleeping on the floor for what looks to be, according to the schedule, about 5 hours.
Perfect. 5 hours
5 hour
right
energy.
there. You
Right
need
there.
it.
And there's no coffee. I thought, well, I got this little guy right here. I can conceal it. Nobody has to know. Nobody has to know.
Actually, you put it in a flask, and it's probably better than if you pulled out the 5-hour energy drink.
What are you drinking? It's none of your business.
This is just 5 hours, guys. It's fine.
There's no coffee here.
Well, I don't know
Things
what
had to
else-
be done.
I don't know what else to do. We can pack for you to make things better. But if there is something, let us know.
Well, here's the other thing. There's a bus ride involved in this trip. What are the social requirements for this bus ride? Like, am I...
You got to go on a bus or like
Oh, no, they've got a charter bus.
charter
for this.
bus?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like that, I thought I was going to have to drive, but that gives me something to do for the trip. Now I'm on a bus, which is great, but like, again...
bring your Switch.
Ooh, yeah.
Bring out the coffee maker and get it started.
Well, I am honestly wondering this thing where it's like, so, like, we're all adults now, so does that mean we have to talk to each other? Or I thought about taking the Switch, and I'm like, well, that seemed too childish.
No.
Do I really need to pack my Kindle? And that way, when someone asks, like, what are you reading? Like, well, it's, nothing big, just Plato's Dialogues.
Why'd you bring both?
Both? Okay.
Yeah, you got plenty of space in your backpack.
But then you got another problem. I've got
bring an outlet or an extender for the chargers and stuff.
Ooh, that's a good idea, right? Okay, all right. I like where you're going here. You're like, hey guys, look, I brought this power strip. I'm going to need 4 of the 6 plugs.
They will love you for that. They will absolutely love you for that.
I got to plug in my tablet, my Switch, my phone, and my Kindle.
And your coffee maker.
And my coffee maker. Okay, I only have one.
And to blow up the mattress if you bring a little thing.
No. There's no battery. It's not powered. You're supposed to, and then you screw the top down.
Sure you do.
That thing was $30.
Sure you do. I'll return it.
Your morning, but without yelling, laughing, or music.
Don't deprive me of that.
We wouldn't dream of it. It's The Riot on Radio U.
If you missed us talking about it earlier, we were discussing movie tickets, some of them being as much as $18.75. At least that's what I have seen. What did I pay? I think the last time I paid that much for a movie was Terminator Genesis.
Ooh, that's a bad move. That's a bad miss. That's
what was
a shame.
That? Was that 2 summers ago? And I just remember being like, no, dude. I went with a friend of mine. I was like, we ordered our tickets way in advance. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. Way in advance for a Saturday night. I was like, it'll be perfect. It's expensive, but let's go see it. Dolby Atmos, like the recliners, everything. And we went, and it was like, can I get my money back?
No one else in the theater, just you guys.
Yeah. It was nearly empty. Opening weekend on a Saturday night, big action movie, not a good sign for them.
But it can be expensive.
Even a worse sign for us. But, Nikki, it's time for us to go next level. We, of course, appreciate and, dare I say, need a reclining experience.
That's the only theater that I really go to. The one that we like has recliners. And though I feel like the parking lot and some of the building are in desperate need of an update, at least the recliners are fine. So I can't go back to watching a movie at a movie theater without it.
I will tell you, you'd be hard-pressed in this area to find a theater that didn't have recliners.
Sure.
Because
I went
to that other theater we never go to. They have recliners. I watched Hurricane Heights completely alone.
In a recliner.
That's not an exaggeration. The theater was completely empty.
You pick your seats ahead of time, and you have recliners. That's it.
Wasn't so bad. But the next level, of course, is beds.
Well, I've seen some where it's like a day bed.
This is, that's probably a more accurate representation.
Yes, I've seen that, and that can be like at some of the more art house movie theaters, or like even in the UK, I've seen some.
Well, I have here, Mark sent this to us yesterday, so thank you, Mark. These are 6 theaters that will let you watch movies in bed. Now, one of them is in Russia, and it's gone now. So, this theater in Russia partnered with an IKEA. It was all IKEA beds for like a few months where you would go in and
You could watch the movie that way?
Yeah, like you're in IKEA watching a movie.
I guess.
The one that I think is the most striking is the Buddha bed. That's the Buddha bed's in Budapest, Hungary. And it's called Buddha Bed Cinema. And they say it's the only fully bed experience, cinema experience in Central Europe.
Oh, okay.
So it looks pretty comfortable. Front row bed at the Electric Cinema, that's in London, but they have beds, but they're only in the front row.
Yes, which makes it a little better because you've got to be laid back so much to be able to see it, usually in the front row, that you can be all the way reclined. At
the Blitz Megaplex in Jakarta, they offer what they call a velvet class auditorium, where you go in and there's a velvet bed for you.
No, thanks.
You wouldn't
I'll just take the recliner.
You wouldn't drape yourself in velvet?
Nope, that's all I need. I just will take the recliner.
How about in Malaysia, there's a beanbag cinema?
That could be fun.
A big beanbag?
That could be good.
Okay. You know what, though? Here's my thing. The thing I like about the leather recliners, let's just be honest. They're never getting cleaned. They never are.
No one's not wiping them down.
Nope. And you dream that they're in there okay, we're going to take our time and we're going to carefully clean every single one of these leather recliners, all the cup holders. But you know what they're actually doing is a bunch of people are standing down there at the entrance, waiting for enough time to have gone by, and then they just move on.
Actually, what they're doing is a lot of times what I do with cleaning, you're like, oh, I'll do that one next week. You know, like, I don't need to do it every week. And then you keep pushing it off.
And then eventually it never happens.
And before you know it, the seat falls apart because of so much filth.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's where we're headed. But at least with these nice, like with the leather, I can pretend that some of the bacteria is sliding off. With velvet to me is just like
all over you.
It's holding on to every spare piece of bacteria it could possibly get its hands on.
Love going to the movies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, you could go in and bring your own, like, leather cleaner and just wipe it off real quick.
Actually, that's really not a bad idea.
Or get, like, a little wipey.
How does Nikki put up with Obadiah day after day? It's easy. We pay her. Radio U.
You know, Facebook is having their big Facebook convention thing that they do. F8. I believe it's because it's the 8th one.
Sure.
I think they just put a number every time. But one of the things that is expected to emerge from this is a big announcement that's starting is it tomorrow? Today. I think it's supposed to be today that the Oculus Go will be available. There are rumors floating, and again, these are just rumors, that it will be on sale like at Best Buy today. And
so
a lot
run,
of this,
don't walk.
Well, a lot of this comes from, well, let me tell you what it is. Like,
no, I know.
A lot of it comes from people are posting photos of, like, people at Best Buy have made space on shelves, and some people in the stockroom have taken photos of the fact that they actually have them in the store. They just haven't put them out yet.
So with Facebook's announcement thing today, they assume that'll be part of it.
They think they're going to pull an Apple thing. We're like, and it's in stores right now.
Well, Apple stopped doing that a while
well,
ago.
They used
to do that. It was like pull back the curtain and then go to the store. But now it's like, well, it'll be available in a while.
So we don't know if it'll happen, but that's the rumor. But the Oculus Go is the $200 Oculus virtual reality thing. Right now, virtual reality is either you got a PlayStation, you got a computer, and you fork out a bunch of money for a Windows headset, an Oculus, a Vive, something like that. But, I mean, you have to have a computer and at least $400 to get started on that. Then, of course, you can buy like the Samsung thing where you put your phone in it. And so you have to have your $600 phone to get started. I'm sorry. Is it $1,000? I'm not sure.
Pretty much, you got to put a lot of money in for virtual reality.
But
Oculus is owned by Facebook, so
is.
that's the one they put a lot of money in.
This will be a $200 standalone virtual reality headset.
So you need a phone still to go with it, or it is its own?
It is completely standalone.
Need a laptop or a desktop or
Nope.
something?
No. And it'll do its own thing. Like everything's built in now, except for like you have to have your own headphones.
Yeah.
And I'll be completely honest, haven't looked really hard at it, so I don't know what all it will and won't do. But as far as I know, like Wi-Fi is built in. I believe that it may have Bluetooth because it comes with a controller that, again, I believe is Bluetooth. So it will play games. As I understand it, it will also stream movies. I think it has a Netflix app that is built in with it, et cetera, et cetera. So it's kind of a big deal in that it makes a lot of the things that a lot of people do in virtual reality available really on the cheap.
Yeah.
When you really look at the other options, it's pretty expensive, and this is only $200.
If it's really just $200, then that's a lot, or that's a lot less compared to all the other money you need for every other version of virtual reality.
Yeah, we don't know. So they're saying $200, and there is a big rumor / whatever that it could be today. Would you?
If it was $200 and I had got money back for my taxes.
Oh, why do you always say that?
If I had have gotten
why
something.
Why do you always have to say that?
Because that's where a lot of people are getting their free money
their
for
free
right
money
now.
For
You're
now.
like,
Okay.
hey, I'm going to go buy all this stuff. So I did not. So therefore, I will not. But I might be interested. I enjoyed playing with your Oculus Rift. I liked it. But that was that's a haul like that. You had to have so much for that setup. It was kind of ridiculous. So if this is not like that setup, then it'd be better.
I've got 3 tracking sensors. Like even like at home, if I want to get the Oculus out and play with it.
It seems like it's an investment in time to get that thing set up.
I have gotten it down to kind of a science of it takes me probably 2 minutes to get everything together. There's still something about it that's a real pain where you're just like, I don't want to do that.
So for $200, if I really liked it, popped it on, and it did everything yours did,
yeah,
that actually might be worth it.
You know, like at lunch, instead of sitting around talking to people, you pull this out, you put it on, you're watching Netflix, and you're trying to eat. hopefully not missing your mouth.
If you can manage with the...
Just do the best you can.
Could be fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, rumors are today. We'll see if it actually happens.
Ooh, I wonder if I wore that while I was in the car, would I get motion sickness?
Absolutely.
Do you think so?
Absolutely.
Because I get that now without the headset.
Getting movement in a
But
direction.
would you know you were moving?
Recycling paper is like planting a tree. Recycling the riot is like burning down the rainforest.
We ain't gonna be in no fire, not today.
It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Nikki, I was thinking of you yesterday, mostly because I always do. Everywhere I go and everything I do, something is reminding me
Such
of
a
you.
sweet friend.
It absolutely is. I headed over to the park to get in a run because we've got the Radio U 5K coming to Radio U, Ohio. When is that? Next Friday. And so I've been trying to get in some miles before that happens. And I got over there, and I was in jeans and a T-shirt, which I didn't want to run in that. So I had to change clothes.
Sure.
And there's only one place I could do that.
In your car? Or?
I had to change in a porta potty.
Oh, did you? Why didn't you go to the bathroom? Or change here?
The bathrooms were...
The bathroom is not the porta potty.
The bathrooms were shut down.
They were locked?
There was no running water in the whole park.
That's what
They're having problems.
This is what Obi sounds like in the porta potty.
So I was in there, and I hope no one will get angry with me, but I used the... Okay, are you allowed to say handicapped bathroom?
Well, it's wait.
Right. What's the word I'm supposed to use for that?
So wait, did you use the
big one?
The handicap porta potty?
Porta potty. Yeah.
I think it's all porta potties.
Okay, because there's like two normal-sized ones.
Yeah.
And then there was the...
Well, you need the room to change. Anybody would have forgiven
like
you for that.
and there was nobody around.
So it's
like, I think
fine.
this will be fine. But
like you can't touch, like hot lava. Like, it's hot lava.
Yep.
But in porta potty, it's all hot lava. The walls, the toilet, the floor. Like, you just got to get in and get out.
So I went in there, and you suddenly realize, like, hey, I need to change, but like, I don't want anything I have to touch the floor. So
did you burn it all?
No, what I did was I managed to get my pants off over my shoes.
Yeah.
So, I didn't have to take my shoes off because, I think that would have been a deal breaker. But there was one moment that was horrific. There was this moment where my keys fell out and landed on the floor of the porta potty. And I was just like... Then it suddenly occurred to me, like, what else do I have on me that could fall out of a pocket?
And worse, into the toilet.
It's like I didn't have my phone with me, but I did have my wallet with me. And I was like, bro, if your wallet falls out, you're going to have to replace everything in there. So as I bent down to pick up my keys, I had my wallet in my hand because I was just like, I'm not going to let this happen.
Fall.
Now, in order for me to do all of this, I had a pair of shorts with me that I was changing into. And I was like, well... I can't let these fall. So what I ended up doing was wearing my shorts on my head. Just
to hold them there until you were ready?
Right, because my thought was, I've got a big head. I've got a big waist. They should fit. So I just put those shorts on my head and managed to. And the other, like, you're taking your pants off. And this to me was really dangerous because you're trying to get your pants off with your shoes on.
In a porta potty.
Right. And so that means that I'll tell you what you can't do. What you just under no circumstances can do in that moment is lose your balance and fall over. So there I am standing on one leg trying to get my shoes through my pants with my shorts on my head, thinking, don't mess this up.
Off the door would have opened then.
Don't mess this up.
Like, why is this shorts on his head?
Like, hey.
Why don't you just change in your car?
Oh, yeah,
I know that's weird, but if you sit in the back and try not to make it weird, you could have changed there.
No, because, all right, here's the thing. I'll just be honest with you. A girl changes her clothes in the back seat of the car at the park, and, a park ranger happens by, and he's like, oh, I'll avert my eyes.
Let me cover the windows for you.
A guy's doing that, and they're like, look at this pervert over here with his pants off in the car at the park.
You just didn't want to change in the porta potty.
We're taking you to see Smokey. We don't allow stuff like that here.
No, I think if you could have explained it, but I'm glad.
I don't think they would have even listened.
I'm glad that you at least got changed then.
I don't think they would have listened to me. And so...
You're not supposed to go into porta potties.
At this point, I don't think I'm supposed to go to the park. I just don't think I am. But there was I wanted to run at the park.
Yeah.
And normally I would go into one of the little buildings. And I mean, they're pretty gross too, but they're better.
The problem with the bathrooms is someone unlocks them at the beginning of the day and locks them at the end, and they don't always get taken care of.
I'm going to go with Ever, but okay.
Ever? Well, they also don't open them up at certain seasons.
Yeah. So there,
which is why the porta potties are there.
I was there in the porta potty, and that was something. Really something.
May I never borrow your keys?
Oh, it's okay, Nikki. I rubbed them on the microphone over there this morning.
Worst of the riot, not enough? Not enough? Check the blog and all things Riot at riot.radiou.com.
I finally feel like I found what I've been looking for a long time. Now, this story is about a girl named Jacqueline Murphy. Jacqueline is a seasonal manager at a Chick-fil-A in North Carolina. And, well, I mean, she's
a seasonal manager, though?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like, you only work there part of the year?
I guess so.
Or maybe she's a manager in charge of the seasonal people they hire.
That could also be true. I don't actually know. I just know that's what she says.
That's the title?
So she's been working there at in Charlotte, North Carolina at a Chick-fil-A. And she's also in pharmacy school right now. So that's what she's going to
college for?
Yeah, but I can't remember which university she's enrolled in. But, she also works Chick-fil-A. And she was so dedicated that she would come in. This is crazy, but I want you to listen to this. She was coming in on her days off, not getting paid, to shadow some of the other managers because she says that she's incredibly shy and she wanted to learn how to deal with fellow employees and customers better.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, who does that?
That's an overachiever right there, but that's smart. That's how you get actual work experience with people at different management levels.
It's like, I'm so interested in being better that I'm coming even though you're not paying me. Nobody does that. Well, except for Jacqueline Murphy. So on, what day was it? Sometime last week, Thursday, she was working the outside drive-through line, talking to customers, and a customer showed up and handed her two things. They gave her a check for $25,000.
Hello?
That's from
amazing.
Chick-fil-A. They won,
really?
she won a grant to help pay for her schooling. And in the middle of that, they also gave her something else. Now, Nikki, I want you, if you can, to pull up and look at the picture
that you sent me.
Yeah, there is a woman. You'll see her standing there holding her check.
Yeah. But
there's a woman standing in front of her that's holding what I'm looking for.
It's a giant sauce packet. It's like the size of like a lasagna you'd put in the oven or something.
But maybe even a little bigger than that.
Maybe even a little bigger. It's a huge. Is it an award or is it actually a sauce thing?
Well, it turns out that if that sauce packet container right there, if you open it up, inside there was a tablet, and that tablet played a video of the CEO of Chick-fil-A congratulating her on all of her hard work and telling her that she had been awarded the scholarship.
Now, I'm going to preface this story with, this doesn't mean that if you start showing initiative,
yeah, you're going to get a $25,000.
Your job that you're going to get $25,000 and an iPad and a sauce thing. But instead, it shows you that if you're doing it for genuine reasons, you never know what you might get.
You never know. But all that crap, skip it.
You just really wanted the sauce thing.
That sauce packet, it tells me that there are things that size that exist. Now, get me that packet. And fill it with Chick-fil-A sauce and get it to me. Because that is they finally made a packet that is big enough to satisfy my needs.
He likes ketchup. It was nice. They even had her family come out, so they were hiding while the presentation was going on, and then they came out.
Yeah.
Very nice. I like nice stories.
Would it be weird if I was like, thank you so much for the money. Now, can you fill this with sauce?
You're only saying that now, but if you had $25,000...
I'd use that to get a big sauce packet.
You'd be quiet for a while.
I probably would. I'd be very excited about it, for sure. But, before that lady left, I'll be like, hey.
Is there actually sauce in this thing?
Do you guys have packets that big at corporate?
Congratulations to her. Way to go.
We thought about selling the worst of the riot, but let's be honest, no one is buying this stuff. Get it for free on the RadioU app.
I think I have read the single best two sentences. Well, actually, you know what? This is one sentence. One sentence that is probably one of the most important things that we can learn all day. Like, listen closely, because this is the most, I'll bet there will be there are one or two things that somebody could tell you that is better advice than this, but not very many things. Not very many. This is from an article on a blog called The Takeout.
For a minute, I thought you were going to talk about the cat beer pong story, and I thought, I don't think that is that emotional. Or
Maybe we'll talk about the catfishing later. All right? But here it is. Here's the quote directly from this blog. Eat what you want. Do whatever random acts of kindness you want, but don't tell the internet anything ever.
That's a good call. That right there, because then if you tell them, you might just get destroyed, which is what happened to this lady.
One more time. Eat what you want. Do whatever random acts of kindness you want, but don't tell the internet anything ever. That is great advice. Now, this revolves around a story of a woman in England who over the weekend saw a little girl who was crying because she didn't get an ice cream cone.
She's 22 years old. She saw a little girl who did not have money
to buy an ice cream cone.
And so she then decided to buy it for her. She bought her just normal ice cream and then tweeted about the situation in the story. The problem is the woman who bought that for the girl associates and calls herself a vegan blogger. Mm-hmm. So a lot of her followers are going to be vegan as well.
So there was one in particular, but quite a few that were overwhelmingly angry that this vegan blogger bought a non-vegan ice cream cone for this
little girl.
So think about that.
They
for
go
just
crazy
a minute.
with it.
They went this lady got blown up on social media for doing this. She just saw a crying kid and bought them an ice cream cone. And she, and I quote, was harming and killing non-human babies.
I liked
when she bought the ice cream cone.
Like, how passive is this? But the guy who was kind of the main starter with the harassment with it, said he wanted his followers to message her about how wrong, but not attack her. Which, I mean, if anybody's it's gonna be an attacking. And followers of her tried to get him in trouble with Twitter for harassment, because it's basically what that was, instigating a harassment. But unfortunately, that did not work out. And so I think she's off Twitter now.
I'm telling you, I think one of the worst things that could ever happen is have the internet at large notice you.
Yeah, no, she's still on there, but a lot of the stuff has been removed from what she was saying. So
it's crazy.
That was just lay off everybody. Lay off everybody.
Seriously, and eat what you want. Do whatever random acts of kindness you want, but don't tell the internet anything ever. Boom!
The Riot with Obadiah.
Oh, loneliness and cheeseburgers are a dangerous mix.
The Riot with Nikki.
Shut up.
Oh, don't tell me to shut up!
The Riot on Radio U.
And, there are phenomenon that as a guy, especially, a guy in college, that you get caught up in, and you do because as a guy surrounded by other guys, you do dumb things. This is part of the male experience. I don't know what the female experience is like, but I know the male experience is like, yeah, let's do this. I mean, I've also been in circumstances where I had to be the lone voice of reason, where I sat at a table with a group of guys that wanted, and I am not making this up, and I'm telling you, I swear to you, if I hadn't said something, it would have happened. They wanted to go dig up a dead body. There was this really old cemetery, and they were like, we'll pick somebody from the mid-1800s and dig them up. And I was just like, guys,
flag
no.
on that play.
I was like,
not doing it.
There's a lot of stuff we can get into this weekend, but I am not. No. And I'm telling you, it would have happened.
Sure.
But then I see other things that not only was I not around for, but I don't even understand how this happens. I don't get it. I mean, come on. This is something that happened last week, but it's the first I've seen about it.
If you watch the video, the Tennessee Titans, some of the players were at one of the Nashville Predators, which is hockey, the playoff hockey game recently. Mm-hmm. But the athletes were kind of getting everybody amped up in the stands and drinking and doing some stuff. And one of the players brought a very large catfish.
And you're like, oh, is that a new phone?
No, like
is
an
that a
actual catfish.
Like a dead fish.
You pulled it from the water. It wasn't even cut up or anything. It's the full catfish.
Mm-hmm.
And the video has been going around of basically, at first I thought like he was like shotgunning or something, but they made it into a beer bong to where they filled up the catfish with beer, flipped it up, and then the guy
drank out of the
catfish. And that's all on for memories.
Yeah. I mean, like
Memories
I said,
down the day.
This has been a few days ago, but it's the first I've seen it.
I've never seen someone do that. Can't you get sick from the catfish?
There's just like that.
Like, does the beer like cancel out anything you might get?
That's a good starting question.
I don't know.
Okay. I get it because, again, when you get a bunch of guys together, there's this one-upmanship that takes place. I'm sure it's from a chemical imbalance, but we don't have to get into that. It's fine. So you've got this container of beer. You could just drink the beer, but you're
they were also doing that.
Well, that's how it starts.
But then they poured it into the catfish's
because
like
after
body.
You've had a couple of beers and you're surrounded by other guys and you're like, okay, drinking the beer is not impressive enough. I must now come up with an impressive way to drink the beer. What if we poured it in this fish?
Well, you have to realize. No, they planned this because they snuck the catfish in.
Okay. I'm talking about the origins of catfishing. So not like, yes, this now I totally get it. But I'm saying that like somebody somewhere
has started that before.
It was a few beers and they were like, bro, let's put the beer in the fish.
Maybe they didn't have a cup ready or something with the can broke and they thought, oh, it'll fit in there.
Maybe they did.
I
feel like it is one of the most I hate fish. I hate the way they taste. I hate the way they smell. I hate holding a fish. I hate fish. And I don't like beer either.
They're just going for impact with it. And I don't like to make judgment statements.
I just
feel
like
someone, like you're right, someone should have said, hey, guys. And no one ever gets sick when they're doing silly stuff like this. It's the one time you happen to eat fancy fish, like at a really nice restaurant.
That's when you're sick.
That's when you get sick. But when you're bringing in a catfish into a hockey game and you're drinking beer out of it, he's fine.
The only thing I can hope is that there was enough alcohol in the beer to burn up whatever germs.
What they do with the catfish afterwards, too. But that was the Tennessee Titans offensive lineman, Taylor Lewan. He was caught. He's the one doing that. Well, actually, not he's caught. He was doing that in front of everybody for a reason.
Yeah. You know what? I want to be the guy. I don't want to, but I hope that they just left the fish in the stands. So, like, the guy that had to clean up.
Just dropped it down.
It would just be like, this is officially the weirdest thing I've ever found in here.
It's like, why do we do this?
I found so many things cleaning up over the years, but here's an 18-inch catfish just laying here.
Someone probably was like, man, I'm taking that home. That is dinner.
Why does it smell like beer?
It's been marinated.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh, no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.
Velvet to me is just like...